All right, track wrestling here in Las Vegas with the new Greco-Roman Manager of Greco-Roman Programs, I guess is the official title, Gary Mayabb. Gary, that release came out this week, a new position.
Yes.
Can you explain exactly what your job will entail?
Everything. It really will. You know, from development all the way up through to what we need to do with the USOC, internal matters as far as how we position our championships, what we do with this type of competitions that allow us to pick our teams. All of these will all fall underneath that umbrella, and so trying to get out Matt Lindland's vision. That's what the goal is.
Long-time college wrestling official, long-time head high school wrestling coach in the Kansas City area. You're going to be moving to Colorado Springs, correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you going to be officiating anymore?
Nope, I retired, so
okay.
Retired from that. I'll miss that, I'm sure, and it may have been a couple of years before I thought, but at the same point in time, I think that one of the things that I'll be doing over these next 2 years is setting up a lot of dialogue and working together with those college coaches. And if I'm going to do that, that could create a conflict of interest. So we'll just stay with one job now.
Yeah, you're narrowing your scope. What made this an attractive position for you? I know you got a pretty decorated background in Greco-Roman wrestling, but what made this an attractive position?
Just the opportunity to challenge. I mean, right now, we love Greco, and there's a lot of people that I think there's an army out there that we haven't enlisted yet, and hopefully we can do that. And then, you know, Coach Lindland's position is that he wants to go on top of that podium, and how we do that over these next years and what that looks like as far as getting his vision out and then getting us to really come together as a nation, that will be the issues.
Can you put his vision in your words? I imagine that it's pretty similarly aligned to how you see things.
Well, I think that first, you know, Coach Lindland's all about, we're going to start with the person of character, one that trains. Training is very, very high on their list because that's what we do the most of. And then at the end of the day, to prepare for those final times where you can compete at a very high level, and on the day that it comes down to it, that you perform at your very best. So putting it together, it's really about going out and looking at, and this is a global issue, so I think we're going to have to take it from a grassroots position all the way up through. I think we're also going to have to align it where we take those college programs and we get some of them to endorse athletes that will keep them in the mix, so either they graduate and come back to us, or we keep using them while they're doing it to help our cadet and junior world teams through either high school or college coaches that allow us to then borrow their athletes and create what we're going to call an American wrestler. An American wrestler typically has some form of background either in freestyle or folk style, and then hopefully we get them in Greco.
How do you make Greco-Roman more popular?
Well, I don't know that we, you know, first of all, it's the assembling of the army. I think if we do not raise our midline level coaching staff, and we have probably between 20 and maybe on the outside 50 coaches in America that are really Greco-Roman based people. If there was a way that we could add another 25 to that, you see, we're talking very small numbers, but percentage-wise, that would be huge. How do we do that? Well, for one, we create mentorships and we get this next group of coaches that want to go overseas. The other thing is, like Joe DeMeo said, you know, we've got to get guys overseas. We've got to put more, you know, we've lost Tour de Monde and we've lost some of those opportunities we've had in the past that helped myself and other coaches that came through during my time to where we got to go overseas. And by doing that, then it opened up what we do now with U.S. World Teams at age group. We need to get that back. We need to get people overseas enough times that those athletes feel very comfortable with that. Right now, we have several athletes that we're putting through to world teams, and all they're doing is coming and winning a qualifier. At the end of the day, that does not win in Europe or the world. So those are some of the things that we're going to have to get that barrier over. But the more times we go to Europe, Greco's very popular in a lot of places there. So those things are, we can go to where it's more popular too.
We put together Junior World Team today. Saw that
Yes.
that team come together.
Yes.
Can you give us a little bit of a rundown of your impressions of the guys that are on that team now? What you saw today?
Well, we saw guys that came back, that stayed in matches. We saw the typical front runners too, that walk out and from start to finish create and set pace and tone of the match and control the center. There's a lot of things they're doing right. Also, we've got two great coaches. I mean, T.C. Dantzler and Ike Anderson will be going over with this crew, and when you got that, I mean, Ike's a sixth-place finisher at Seoul. T.C. is an Olympian. He's a two-time national champion, five-time world team member, and those are your two coaches for juniors. And Ike was, developmental coach for all his decades. So we're very excited about putting them together because those two guys, their approach and philosophy is based on teaching the individual, and that's what we need. We're going to get film. We'll strengthen their strengths, their strong points. Try to focus on what won today for them that we can take into Finland.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground here. Anything more you want to add? Is there anything that we haven't touched on you think is important?
No, I think that right now, what I'll be doing over this next few months and maybe a 2-year period is setting the network. And as we set the network, then hopefully that will build and grow numbers. But numbers alone will not do this. It's going to take the right numbers, that upper middle group that we've got to get, where we have grassroots coaches working with kids that then present more people at this qualifier in 2 years. So,
Thanks so much, Gary.
thank you very much.